President Trump was supposed to meet with Democrats today about one of the last bipartisan issues in Washington. The old classic, infrastructure. The problem was, earlier this morning, Nancy Pelosi came out of a meeting with the House Democratic caucus about brewing calls for impeachment. And she said this.
We believe that the President of the United States is engaged in a cover-up. And that was the nature of the meeting.
That left a question hanging over Washington. Can Democrats in the White House work together even while they're trying to knife each other? Everyone was waiting for some kind of sign. And the president had one taped to his podium.
I just saw that Nancy Pelosi, just before our meeting, made a statement that we believe that the President of the United States is engaged in a cover-up. I'm the most transparent president probably in the history of this country. This meeting was set up a number of days ago at 11 o'clock. All of a sudden, I hear last night they're going to have a meeting right before this meeting to talk about the I word. The I word.
All this seems to indicate two branches of government on a collision course with the I word. Trump's been goading the Democrats for a while now over impeachment. And today, he all but openly dared them to go for it.
Whether or not they carry the big I word out, I can't imagine that, but they probably would because they do whatever they have to do.
The person standing in the Democrats' way, weirdly, has been Nancy Pelosi herself. She's been working hard behind the scenes to convince members that impeachment will doom them in 2020. And it's hard to blame her. Pelosi had a front row seat to then Speaker Newt Gingrich's quest to impeach President Clinton back in 1998, and she watched it blow up in his face. Political scientist Alan Abramowitz tracked that election and published a paper in the aftermath that he called, "It's Monica, Stupid."
They were moving forward with the impeachment of President Clinton, and in the midterm elections that year, Republicans actually lost some seats in the House of Representatives, which is something that doesn't usually happen. And the other thing that we saw during the impeachment inquiry at that time was that President Clinton's popularity actually increased. And we saw his approval ratings go up into the 60s at one point. So clearly this politically was damaging to Republicans. They just misread the country.
The whole thing cost Gingrich his job as Speaker. It's a story you'll definitely be hearing a lot more about in the next couple weeks. But it has another chapter. 2 years later, George W. Bush used the idea that Clinton was slimy to make this case for his election.
When I put my hand on the Bible, I will also swear to uphold the honor and the integrity of the office to which I have been elected, so help me God. Thank you all for coming.
But that was then. 20 years have passed. 20 long, weird political years.
In that political climate, in that era, there would have been a group of voters who could be swayed one way or the other by what was happening. Both moderate Republicans and maybe some moderate Democrats and independents who could be moved. But recently, there's just not much movement.
Trump!
It almost doesn't seem to matter what happens. People are kind of locked in to their opinions of Trump. And, for the most part, Republicans are going to support him almost no matter what he does. There's a very small group of people who are movable here.
Not only are voters not that movable, but these days, the insane speed of the news cycle makes even really big things seem like really small things, really fast. Viewed in that light, if you're Democratic leadership, why not just roll the dice? Stand up for the Constitution, please your base, and assume the electorate will basically have forgotten all about it over the course of the lifetime that is the 531 days until the next election. Over the course of today alone, you could see that argument, maybe, starting to take hold. By early this afternoon, Pelosi had added a crucial word to her messaging.
He's engaged in a cover-up, and that could be an impeachable offense.